Good morning, beautiful. It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to be outside. It's still cold. Well, not freezing or anything. It's just cool because the wind is still from Antarctica. But I say wind and there is none. It's just very calm out here. So that means we can enjoy the garden again. And it's autumn, so lots of things are sort of, finished, right? But those lilies are lilies that I just moved because they needed to go somewhere else. They were under the shade. They were getting smothered. Alicia, good morning, honey. So there's a time in a garden when you reorganise things. And here is the lovely aucuba, which has grown back from, I pruned it back to sticks and now it's all lush again. And look, I had my orchid sitting up in this tree stump and then the arm of it broke. And the thing fell down. I thought, why did it fall down? And then I realised finally it had, its support had gone. So at the moment it's on the ground. I think there's going to be quite a reshuffle in this garden. A lot's changed in me, and so the garden has to change too. Got beautiful colours on the thalictrum foliage. I love this. It's just gorgeous. It isn't cool. It's sort of a bit like a maidenhair, even though it's not related. Good morning, Linda. Just enjoying, what you get when the garden is shutting down for the year. Slowly. Doesn't all happen at once. Last few fuchsia blossoms. This is one of the highlights, is the willow gentian. And the fact that there are lots and lots and lots of Japanese anemones flowering. They go on and on and on. It's great. Let's get close to these blue flowers. They're pretty beautiful, especially now because it's overcast. There are no harsh shadows. You can actually see what it really looks like. So this morning it's so quiet. And there's a late rose on the sweetheart rose there. And there's a fuchsia bush that I planted. It's just a little one, but it's got a stick so I don't walk on it. Teresa, it is beautiful to see you. Good morning. And this is something that's just coming up. It's the autumn crocus. There's a few of them. You can see them there, but there will be more. They're just starting. And the Commelina, by contrast, is just finishing. It's not got any new flowers on it today, so it's done. So it's, ringing in the changes. And we've still got these amazing nerines, but again, you can see they're starting to get old. But they have this lovely peach colour inside the flowers as they age. They get a little bit more colourful. So there's a beauty to everything in its cycles. So there you go. That's what we are seeing today. And today I want to carry on our conversation from where we were yesterday. We were talking about, what were we talking about? Yesterday was another lifetime. I'm a new person now. I went into the field and I changed. They look like tulips, Alicia, but they're not. They are called colchium, the autumn crocus. Tulips are definitely a spring thing. They come after it's been cold enough to make the flowers spike sort of wake up and say, hello, I need to flower. So they look a bit like tulips, but they are called autumn crocus. Look them up, they're beautiful. So we're talking about fear, and one of you made a fabulous comment about, the thing about fear is that you should just push on through and trust yourself and take the leap, right? Morning, everybody. I can see lots of you are joining us. Hi, Jasmine. But Facebook isn't telling me who you all are, so welcome. It's great to have you with us. And I thought about that because, that famous book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, right? Hi, Julian. Good morning. What's the deal with that? And I never used to know, and I do now. I do know how I deal with that myself now. And I just, how do I frame this? So, usually when this kind of question comes up, it's because you have some kind of opportunity or a choice or a challenge in front of you, right? Something which means that if you're going to do it or step into it or whatever, you're walking into the unknown. And of course, generally with the unknown, we feel some degree of apprehension, fear, challenge, whatever. So then, how do you decide if I should just bull on through this Be strong, ignore my fears, be courageous, and do it. Or am I actually feeling a fear that really is something that I should pay attention to because for whatever reason, this isn't right for me? And how do you know? Because it's kind of hard to know when you're feeling that apprehension. It's kind of hard to know when you think, you know. How do you know? And this is the thing that people struggle over, you know. Am I imagining that I'm feeling this feeling inside me that says, oh, go for this? Am I making it up? You know, who's talking to me? Am I hearing spirit correctly? What's the deal? How do I know? And so I want to address that question because people get confused and they get all wound up, and the more wound up they are, the more confused they feel. I've just spotted something I have to show you because I missed it before. Look at the Luculia. It's a beautiful thing and it smells fabulous as well. Just wanted you to see that. Okay, so how do you know? And this is the thing that I now understand, if you like, from a neuroscience point of view, very basically. I need to read some neuroscience books so I can sound more like a neuroscientist when I talk, but really, sometimes I like the fact that I don't actually know that much because it means I keep talking like a human person, you know. Because we have this gut feeling, right? We have this feeling, we have a gut feeling, we have a, you know, how do I know if I can trust it? And it gets framed in all kinds of ways, you know. Oh, I sat down, I connected with spirit, I used my pendulum, I talked with my friends, I meditated, whatever it is, and you get a feeling, you think, can I trust this? So here's how I know if I can trust it. If I'm calm and I'm centered, and most of all, I'm coherent, and I need to talk about what that is, and that feeling stays with me, then I know I can trust it. I know that I'm really aligned with this thing that's in front of me because it may be unfamiliar, it may be a challenge, but when I'm calm and I'm centered, and I don't mean that logically I can see how it's going to work out either. I don't mean that I can say, oh yeah, I can see how I'm going to navigate that, you know, really interesting thing that I'm looking at doing. May not have a clue, but there's something about it that says, yep, this is fine, this is okay. And I'm feeling a bit of excitement, or I'm even feeling a bit of a challenge, I'm feeling a bit of a fear, I'm feeling a bit of, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm sort of centered about it. This feels true for me, this feels real for me. I'm not feeling pressured, I'm not feeling hurried, I'm not feeling desperate, I'm not feeling any of those survival emotions say you must decide this now and you must do this because if you don't you will lose XYZ. I'm not feeling any fear of loss, not feeling any fear of missing out, I'm not feeling driven, I'm not feeling compelled or coerced. I really feel that this is the right choice for me. And by the way, choices like that can still be very demanding to make because you may know in your gut, excuse me, I just got to do this, you may know in your gut that what you're feeling is right, and yet it can be really challenging to do because to stay true to what you're feeling, it means that maybe people are not going to like you or, you know, whatever. So I'm not saying that it's always going to be comfortable, but you know in your soul, in your heart, in your core, in your, you know, that part of you that knows when you're centered, when you're calm, when you're clear, that it's right. Now, if you're feeling a bunch of fear, a bunch of pressure, a bunch of, oh, I've got to do this, whatever it is, if you're not feeling like that, probably not such a good idea. Great example in my life. Some years ago, after a year or so after I launched into the Telesummit business, not realising that the person who called herself my coach, hi Rhonda, really didn't have a fecking clue and should have said to me, your product is not suitable for Telesummits, because it's not. You know, and I launched and it didn't work, really, it didn't work. And I was in a lot of fear, I was in a lot of desperation. Hi Amy! And I was still using the kind of blogging, email marketing model, which I didn't realise I actually hated. It took me a while to work that out. See, it's a process where we get used to saying no to things, or yes to things that we think are right for us, just because it was what everybody else was doing, and there's a process and you follow it and you'll get some success. Well, no, but I didn't know. I had to go through that. So kind of at the tail end of that, I was pushing, and I decided I engaged a company to do some search engine optimization for me. And basically, really, they were scam artists. And because I was so afraid and because I was so desperate and because I didn't understand many of the things I understand now, I signed up for a deal, which for me was a lot of money. And what, I was for Google AdWords. And for what I know now about Google AdWords, if you're not throwing 5,000 New Zealand dollars a month at it, you're wasting your bloody time. But they sold me a pack of lies about, what they could do with what for me was a significant amount of money, but was less than that. And I bought it. And when I think back to who I was when I made that decision, it was one of those offers that was too good to refuse and you have to make up your mind in a very short time and all of that. And I was so incoherent that I did not recognise the signs that now I'd be like, oh, piss off, you are such a rip-off artist. The company no longer exists. If they did, I would name and shame. But they don't. Of course they no longer exist. Anyway, so, I was in fear. I felt actually coerced. I felt pressured. All of the bells were going off inside me about this person doesn't really mean that it doesn't really care about me, doesn't really care about my future. They just want to make a sale. But I didn't recognise them and understand that. Yeah. So yes, many of us have done that. So that is an example of making a choice because I felt I was afraid of what I would lose. I was too scared to say, no, I don't believe you, you asshole. Anyway, so that's an example of making a choice because I felt pressured, because I was scared. If you're calm, if you really know it in your soul, even when you look at it like you do, Linda, and think, oh, how the hell is this going to happen? There's a part of you that just knows. And one of the things that happens when there's a part of you that just knows and you're still looking at it and thinking, oh, shut up. There's a process, really, I think, of going from the place of, damn it, I know this and it scares the crap out of me, to coming to a place where you say, I don't care what's going on in my life. I don't care what people think. I don't care what's going on in my body. I don't care how long it takes. I am doing this. And so that's part of the process, to go from that, oh shit, I know this is for me and it's scary, to I'm doing this. So this is how we know, right? If you're coherent, if you're clear. And by the way, Jasmine, this so does not happen to me now. It so does not happen to me now because I know who I am, and I know I'm coherent, and I know that there is always another fantastic opportunity. And by the way, I had to go through that. Because that was who I was at that time. I was going to attract that experience until I became somebody else. So, there's no need to feel sorry for me. I'm not sure you do, but just in case anybody feels sorry for me, no, I created that. No, I never created that. I'm just somebody else. I wouldn't have that experience again. I've grown, become someone else. So, now I was going to look at the clock. I never actually looked at it. Okay, I want to talk about some very, very simple tools about how to get coherent so you can actually know, right? Because the heart knows. The brain, remember we said yesterday that when you are thinking within the thought patterns and what you know and like the circuitry and the chemistry, the neurological circuitry and the biological chemistry of what you know about a particular problem, it just goes round and round and round in tight bloody circles. You don't know where, right? Because that's all you know. And the solution to your challenge, or the answer to should I do this or not do this, is never going to be found within that, because that's the past and you're looking for something outside of that. So you've got to get outside of that. You've got to let that go. I hope that makes sense. You will not find it in what you know. The answer is outside of your box. So how on earth, Maddie, do you get out of the box? Yeah, incoherence in itself is a signal, Linda. You understand the language, so I've got to explain what this is for people that don't yet. Big hand up to Dr. Joe Dispenza, who really is my hero because of the information he's made available to me that has changed my life and is the basis of what I explain and talk about now. I put it in my own words, but he's done the work and done the research, science, peer-reviewed, solid, repeatable, laws. It's a process, it's a formula. So, When you are in stress, when you are in fear, when you are, scared, this thing's here and whatever, what's happening in your brain is that what's happening in your brain, I'm going to make this really short and miss a bunch of stuff out, is that instead of the brain firing, it being like an orchestra, where all the different compartments in the brain are working together, right? And everyone's had the experience of being so totally engrossed in something. If it was a game or a craft you were doing, or you're spending time with friends, or a walk where you were just there with nature, everyone's had the experience of being totally present with something. And time just goes. And it was great. You feel really good, right? Everyone's done that at least once. When you're in that state, your brain is working harmoniously, and all the different compartments in your brain are talking to each other. It's talking to each other. They're connected. It becomes more coherent. Let me just read this. Yeah. It is. I wouldn't say that I called it to myself, Linda, but I created it by default because it was a resonant match to who I was being. It was just as incoherent as I was. Can talk more about that tomorrow maybe, because it is a hard one to unpack. It's like, what, you mean I did this to myself? Yeah, you did, but you didn't, you didn't say, oh, I want to hurt me. It's just you didn't know that the universe has to endorse who you're being, right? That's how it works. So, coherence, being in a state of flow, that absolute, that was an amazing day. Where did it go? That was an incredible art class. It's gone. And I was so in flow and I did this amazing thing. When you're like that, your brain is coherent, and it's like there is a symphony, there's an orchestra, and there's a conductor, and it's all playing the same tune, and there's a rhythm and a connection, and it's music, right? When you are incoherent, because you're afraid, incoherence means you're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel sad, angry, grief, loss, desperation, competition, whatever it is. Because essentially, when you're in that state, you are looking for a predator in your environment, and you are looking to avoid it, right? When you're in that state, biologically, you are running away from a saber-toothed tiger. One way or another, that's really what's happening. So in that state, your brain is firing very fast. It's saying, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? How's my body? Is it strong enough? Can I run away? Is there pain? Well, actually, you tend to ignore pain if you're in that much thing. What can I hear? What can I see? What can I taste? What can I smell? Where's that danger coming from? And the brain becomes very incoherent. And when the brain becomes very incoherent, that symphony becomes a cacophony, and it sends this incoherent signal to your body and chemistry and neurology, and the whole thing is an uproar. And you can't think straight when that's going on. You can't know anything. The fear and the tuning and or the anger or the whatever it is that you're feeling in your body when you're like that, not going to give you any useful guidance, not going to tell you what you need to know. Which is why you can't know if that scary, amazing, exciting, whatever it is that's in front of you is for you while you're in that state of being. So you've got to change your state before you can know. How do I do that? 2 simple things, really simple things. I am not saying they are easy. I am saying they are simple, which means anybody can do them and they take some practice, right? The first thing is to put your attention in your heart. You got this breastbone on your chest, that hard thing that sort of holds all your rib cage together and protects your internal organs there. 3 minutes to do this. I live in no time. I accomplish everything. Put your attention in your heart. Just put it there. Remember yesterday I said put your attention in your right butt cheek, and suddenly your right butt cheek was real. And the day before I asked you put your attention in your left toe, and suddenly you had a left toe. You hadn't noticed it before I asked you. Put your attention in your heart. If you need to, tap on your breastbone. Wake it up. Put your attention there. Now, do something that might feel a bit weird. It took me a while to work it out. Breathe in through your heart. Imagine the air coming in through your heart. And then breathe out through your heart. Really basic stuff, but you've got to pay attention to your heart center, and you've got to imagine your breath coming in and out of your heart. This makes your heart coherent. I haven't talked about heart coherence today, no time. This makes your heart coherent. Heart's actually more powerful than the brain. There are 95% of the neurons between the heart and the brain go from the heart to the brain. So if the heart is coherent, the brain's going to get coherent. This is the superhighway. Put your attention in your heart. Breathe in and out of it. And after you've done that for a few, even 4 or 5 breaths, if you're in a hurry, if you think, oh God, I don't know how long I can sustain this, imagine that you are breathing light or love or compassion, whatever you need the most. Peace is the word I'm trying to come up with. Breathe peace, breathe safety, breathe whatever you want to feel in and out of your heart. And if you don't know, just go for the basics. Go for gratitude. I'm so grateful I can breathe in and out of my heart. I'm so grateful I can choose to put my attention on my heart. I'm so grateful I know that when I do this, it makes my heart coherent and then it makes my brain coherent. I'm so grateful I know these simple basic facts. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Breathe gratitude in and out of your heart. Notice you're really putting your attention on what you want now instead of what you don't want. Keep breathing in and out of your heart. Do that for 1 minute, you're going to notice a change. Work it up to 5 minutes, you're going to feel better. Work it up to 10 minutes, you're going to start feeling elevated emotions of love, peace, gratitude, even joy. And when you've done that, your brain is going to be more coherent. The other way to make your brain coherent is to practice a convergent focus and then a divergent focus. But I think I'm out of time. I might have to I'm going to have to talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have to talk about this intuition thing. All your comments are perfect, right? So, the choices we make. And I'm going to have to talk about convergent and divergent focus. Another really simple, really powerful thing to make your brain coherent. But for now, if you make your heart coherent, you will make your brain coherent. And it takes choice when your body is screaming at you and saying, you need to be scared. You need to decide now. You need to know now. You're saying, no, I am the mind. I freaking am the mind. And I'm choosing to put my attention here and just not pay attention to anything else. Just in my heart. And you can breathe in, you can breathe out. And you can imagine that as you breathe in, it's coming from all around you. Hi, Militia! And as you breathe out, it's going out all around you. And that's a cheat's way of doing a divergent focus. So, I know I gotta go. Thank you so much for joining with me. It's always a joy. Thank you for your comments because they inspire me. They give me more things to talk about, and that's wonderful. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.